Alrighty, third graders. So today we are going to be doing a pretty cool project that I saw on TikTok actually, and then I looked it up on Pinterest and a few other blogs and sites and figured out how to do it, practiced it, and thought this is way too much fun to keep to myself. So what we're going to be doing is making these really cool chalk prints. So sometimes people call it chalk marbling. Sometimes, it's called all sorts of different things. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using chalk to make these cool prints. So if you don't have like art chalk at home, that's totally fine. You can use sidewalk chalk. So just like the regular chalk that you use at home when you're like just drawing on the sidewalk. Okay, so it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just know that if you do use sidewalk chalk, chances are it won't be quite as bright as some of these, but it'll still turn out pretty cool. Like how cool is that swirl going on there? So it's pretty fun, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So all you need is some sort of water bucket. If you guys camp, you might have these things called like dish pans, which is what we use like when we're camping to wash our dishes. So you'll need something like this, or if you have like just a big like glass pan or something like that, anything you can think of, and then you're just going to pour in some water, and you only need it to be about an inch deep. It doesn't have to be super deep. I'm just going to pour in about an inch of water. Then you're going to use a cheese grater. You don't have to use a cheese grater. I just found that it's a little easier with a cheese grater, but you don't have to. I also did it with like a butter knife. I even tried it with like opened up scissors and shaved it off, and all of that works too. Even like a spoon will work. So whatever you guys can use to get the chalk to sit on the surface. So you don't want it to come off in like big chunks, because those chunks will sink to the bottom. You want it to sit just on the surface of the water like what you see here. And so you can do more than one color. You can do like spread it out a little bit. It's whatever you want. So I'm gonna do a little more blue over here. There we go. All right, so hopefully you guys can see the surface of the water has the chalk on it. Then you just need some paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. This is just cheap computer paper. And you're just gonna take your paper and lay it on top. Now, one thing I have learned is that it seems to work better if you push it down a little bit so it kind of sticks to the surface of the water, because otherwise it kind of curls up. And then you can start to see how the water or the paper is starting to absorb the water. See how the paper is starting to get wet? I found it works better if you wait for that to happen. And if you push it down a little bit so that the edges don't curl up, because if the edges curl up, then they're not touching the chalk, which means that you're not going to get any chalk in that spot. So you want to wait until the water has a chance to kind of soak into the paper a little bit, because that's what's going to help to change the color of it. I think that's probably good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from probably the edge, and then I'm just going to carefully peel it up out of the water. And as you can see, the spot that I waited for it to get wet is the part that printed, and the part that I got impatient and I didn't wait for it to get wet did not print. So that's the part that was left white. So that's how you do it. And